all this sexual undertone.
The Mindbuzz Podcast.
This is MB62 on the Mindbuzz Podcast with Krisha from Gay Monologues. Coming up right now.
The Mindbuzz Podcast.
Krisha.
Hey, Gill, how are you doing?
Hey, how's it going?
Pretty good, pretty good.
How are you?
A little nervous, a little cold. I don't know if it's the weather changing or if it's me being here. I haven't been on the mic for quite some time.
Oh, really? Okay, well, welcome back. And welcome to the Mindbuzz, this little podcast we got going on. We've been talking about this for a few months. I was going through the emails, and the first contact that we had was in July, so that's a few months ago. But none of that matters because you're here right now. So welcome.
Thanks. So glad to be here. Yeah, it's been a long time coming. Pretty excited about it since July.
You talked about the weather change. Where actually are you from?
I'm from the Philippines, but I'm currently in Toronto.
And Toronto's Canada,
Toronto,
right?
Canada, yeah.
All the way from Toronto.
Up north.
Up north, yeah. Just a few miles from Southern California. I mean, no big deal. But before we hopped on, and then also, do you know why? Okay, so I'm gonna go through some 10 amazing facts about Canada's geography, and
oh no.
yeah. I have to. I find Canada so fascinating, especially the geography, the size of this country. It's country, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, it's a country.
Okay. Well, I don't know. I'm stupid when it comes to geography and flat Earth and different conspiracies. But
no, me too. That's why I said, "Oh no," when you said geography facts. I can't say if they're wrong or right because I don't know either.
Okay, well they're on Google, so they must be right.
All right.
I'm gonna put the link to the 10 amazing facts about Canada's geography in the show notes. If you don't believe me, if you think I'm just maybe bullshitting this, I'm not. This was posted January 30th. I'm going to put the link down in the show notes. But before I get that started, also we got to keep in mind that I still don't know what the maple leaf is or what that reference to on the Canadian flag. So the Mindbuzz is a pretty big hit in Canada. So shout out to Canada. And here's the 10 amazing facts about the geography over there. So number 1, Canada has the longest coastline in the world.
I had no idea that's so cool.
Hold the excitement. No, at 240,000 kilometers along the shores of 52,455 islands. That's kilometers. And over here in the States, we're still going by not the metric system. I don't know what it's called, but I don't know what I don't know what a kilometer is. So
I don't know what a mile is. So
there's that.
Here.
We're equal. I like it. Number 2, there are millions of lakes in Canada. Do you live by a lake?
Yeah. I think it's Lake Ontario. But yeah, that one I knew that we
Okay.
have a lot of fresh water.
Yeah. Among its largest lakes are Lake Huron in Ontario, Great Bear Lake in Northwestern Territories, and Lake Superior also in Ontario. So there other lakes are Manitoba. That's a fun name. I can't pronounce this Lake Winnipegosis. Does that ring a bell at all?
Winnipeg part sounds right.
Win-
Probably the rest of it is right as well.
Winnipegosis. There's probably somebody listening to in Canada it's punching the air because I don't know how to pronounce this. But Lake Manitoba. Oh yeah, right here, Lake Winnipeg. Okay, cool. Well, that's the lakes in Canada. So it's all number 3 is the world's oldest known rocks to be found there.
Ooh.
Okay, cool. Is it maybe rock and roll? No, just the U.S. Okay, that was a bad joke. Number 4, we have a version of the. I like how it puts it in like first person tense. So obviously this article is from an editor from Canada. So I would hope so. I wouldn't want like myself writing about Canada if I've never been there. So that's always a plus.
Well, maybe there's like huge Canada fans out there that
Maybe.
aren't from Canada.
Yeah. I'm a huge Canadian fan, a Canada fan, if you will.
I'd read an article that you wrote about Canada.
Yeah, exactly. I did. That link at the at the show notes, you can find it there. So they have a version of the Dead Sea. I won't go more in depth with that one, but number 5, Regina is the geograph. I can't talk today. Regina is the geographical center of North America. It just shows like a really nice picture of a mountain. So Saskatchewan, you know where that's at?
Saskatchewan?
Sure.
I know it's west of me. I'm
Gotcha.
pretty sure.
Gotcha. So Regina is a capital. Prairie province.
Yes, definitely west of me then.
Okay. So number 6, 6 Canadian cities have more than 1 million residents. That's a lot of fucking people. Let's see. So Canadian cities like Toronto, Montreal, Vancouver, Calgary, Edmonton, hope I'm saying that right, and Ottawa. You have some very fascinating names. Ottawa.
Yeah, I think they're all indigenous.
Okay.
Like
yeah.
We're not really Canada, it's Canada.
Oh, really?
Well, that was the origin, and then, we whitewashed it. Or not we. It was whitewashed.
We as in them.
Yes.
Number 7, largest and smallest provinces and territories. Okay, cool. Largest source of fresh water in the world. Well, at least you got some fresh water over there.
Yeah, so, if the world is ending, Canada will be surviving a little longer than everybody else.
You know where I'm going for my water? At the Armageddon. I will be.
Yeah, come up.
Well, I don't even know if I'm allowed in Canada because I heard, I haven't researched this yet, but I heard that people with DUIs are not allowed in Canada.
I didn't know that.
Is that true, or is that just something my mom made up so that way I don't leave the house?
I think that's made up, but might have to double check.
Sounds made up, right?
Yeah. That's crazy. Imagine just one DUI and you're not allowed through the borders. Or maybe you could fly in, not drive to Canada.
Yeah, go on a plane. Okay, I'm right here. Drop me off. Kick me off the plane. But that would make sense because if the largest source of fresh water in the world is in Canada, uh, and they don't allow people with DUIs to go into Canada, so that makes a lot of sense. You know?
Well, how come? Because you won't drink the water?
Yeah. I mean, maybe.
But I think maybe we should let you guys in because you're not going to drink the fresh water. That's how you got the DUI.
Probably. Number 9, you'll find the largest island within an island here. When I first read that, I was on a very high amount of of cannabis, Canadian cannabis. And I was just thinking, I'm like, whoa, okay, so Canada has a little island within an island within an island, and then it just kept on like spiraling into, I'm like, how isn't that what the world is? The world is just like a big piece of land with a whole bunch of lakes. And we don't call them lakes, we call them oceans. So therefore, all the continents are islands. And
I'm not high right now, but you're tripping me out. Like you're blowing my mind, Gill.
okay, number 10, tallest mountain peak. Mount Logan in Yukon is Canada's tallest mountain at 5,995 meters high. Oh, okay, cool. I'm glad that they put the feet in parentheses here, so that way, people like me, Americans, can contrast that a little bit. 19,551 feet. Okay.
How I can't even gauge how tall it is. I have nothing in comparison.
I use
Like-
feet. I use inches and feet all the time, and I still can't gauge how large that is. But it can be found in Kluane National Park. Am I saying that right? And reserve.
How do you spell that?
Kluane.
And I have no idea how to pronounce that.
No, people in that part of the country right now in Canada are punching the air because we
So
can't
sorry.
pronounce that. I apologize on behalf of everybody here at the Mindbuzz. And those are the 10 amazing facts about Canada. So I learned tons of stuff. Krisha, I know your excitement showed that you learned a couple of things. So there it is. Some
Yep.
cool
Thank you so
Canadian
much.
facts. There you go. We're done with the show. Everybody, thanks for listening on. No, just kidding. Krisha, like we said at the top of this, been waiting to do this for a very long time. Krisha has a very cool podcast that I will be putting the link down in the show description. So tell me a little bit how you got into that in the podcasting world. And you have a YouTube channel too. So I'm going to go ahead and put the link there too.
Oh man, I haven't checked what's on my YouTube in a while, but it's mostly just links to the video versions of the podcast. I guess how I got into podcasting, I'm actually trying to remember.
Well, yeah, podcasting, but I want to hear the meat and potatoes of why you wanted to start Gay Monologue.
Right. I think this stemmed from my fear. So I guess I started it almost exactly a year ago. And that's when I had realized, or around the time I'd realized that I was a lesbian. And I was doing a lot of self-reflecting, and I realized that I was very afraid to admit that to myself because I wasn't sure how my future would look like. You know, when you're straight, you can see that you get married, have kids, and then, you know what your life is going to look like. It's in so many movies, so many stories. But then I wasn't sure. And that uncertainty scared me so much. And that's why it was so hard for me to accept myself. And what I did to help myself feel better and to, finally label myself as a lesbian was just watching a lot of YouTube videos and LGBTQ content creators, and I guess seeing their lives and how okay they were helped me. And I guess that's what I aim to do, to show my life and my stories, and hopefully help some kids too that are coming out. And I'm hoping that I continue this for longer and that it'll show more of my life as I grow up. Yeah, just
I liked
helping
how
people.
helping people, and I liked how you, like, at the first, like, your very first episode, you talked about your coming out story, and I thought that was
Yeah,
that was a great, I think, for what you're doing on your show, uh and starting it off on that note was fucking fantastic.
thanks. My God, I tried to listen to it again, but I was
Uh-huh.
so nervous. You could just, like, hear it, and it was so tight in my like vocal cords, and I was just so like a baby. I look back at a year ago, and I'm like, oh my God, I was a child.
Yeah, we have grown over the past year, especially creating different content, plus this global pandemic that has happened recently. That is, we're still uh, trying to go back to normal, whatever normal may be. I just had Rachel from Lauren to Cat. She's actually from Canada also. Uh, Vancouver. Yeah, there we go. That's what it is.
Ooh.
Rachel, if you're listening, Vancouver. I finally pronounced that right. You can hear my Southern California accent trying to bring that word out of my mouth, but she described how the pandemic affected, I guess, Canadian policy over there, and like I usually say on this podcast about California and Los Angeles and all that. It's we're tightening the vaccine mandates all across California. I feel like I don't know, maybe because I don't travel that much outside of the states, that, and I only really know my experience with how things are going. But how is that going in your side of the world?
It's going really well, actually. Surprisingly, we thought that there was going to be a fourth wave during fall, winter, but because a lot of us have gotten the vaccine, not everybody, we're still pushing for that, but because a lot of adults have gotten the vaccine, it suppressed the fourth wave, and now they're. I don't know what it's like in the States if you guys have stages, but now we're talking about moving out of stage 3 and like maybe
Gotcha.
not wearing masks soon. I don't know if it's now, but they're coming up with a plan for it. So maybe in the next couple months. And yeah, actually my sister had a wedding over the weekend, and it was the most normal I ever felt. We were still supposed to wear masks, but everybody was vaccinated, and the venue made sure to take everybody's information and
Wow.
their record of their vaccination. But yeah, so it was all family, and I think around 120 people, and I
Gotcha.
felt like everything was normal, and I was like, this is so surreal.
Yeah, you see like different venues, and I guess, well, at least in Southern California now they're trying to push that vaccine mandate on large venues like Staples Center, Dodger Stadium, uh the Fairplex, where we have the different large event space, like Honda's Stadium, Angel Stadium, all the baseball parks and stuff. So they're barely rolling out with the, like, strict mandates now. So I mean, hopefully, we will see a change, but I don't want to say majority, because I don't even know if it's a minority or majority, but there is a lot of pushback. Like, Tons,
Yeah.
tons.
I'm not keeping up with all the conspiracy theories with all the anti-vaxxers, but I guess I can't comprehend why somebody would not want the vaccine if they're
Do you have any
like
that
physically able.
jump out at you? Because I have friends over there in London, and they all talk about American conspiracies. And I asked them, I'm like, why is it always American conspiracies? Is it because we Americans are just very are we I don't know. Is it Americans that come up with this shit, or uh are there Canadian conspiracies?
I think it's just we're so closely tied that
Mhm.
it's the same. But I do remember when everybody first started getting their vaccines, a lot of my female friends were saying that it messed up their menstrual cycles. So
Yeah, I heard that.
the theory was that they're trying to control the population with the vaccine, which is a little freaky. Not a little, like very freaky.
Yeah, I heard that it was. I heard this on another podcast actually by Adam Curry, No Agenda, the Podfather. Everybody should know him if you're listening podcast. But over there on No Agenda, he had this segment where he was talking about it wasn't just the person that got the vaccination that was receiving the menstrual cycle type deal, um, but it was also people around them that were being affected with that without not even being vaccinated.
That's crazy. Did they have any like facts or stories
Probably
with
not, but
people?
no, there was a
You're
there
right.
no, but there was a few articles out there. I mean, I didn't look into it that in depth. I was just like, okay, that's kind of weird. But if you okay, so if there's only one, you have to look at it from like a percentage point of view, because how many thousands of women get vaccinated, and maybe there's only a case like that once in a few 100,000, then there's a low percent. So I mean,
Yeah.
and it could vary from person to person, right? I mean, compared to their biological makeup. I mean, who's to say if it was like every other woman uh experiencing that, then maybe there is a problem or an issue, but I don't think because of there's like one case, two cases, I don't think that can justify into a full-blown conspiracy.
Yeah, and I think people focus on the one or two stories too much and then just blow it up and make it seem like it's a different story and change the detail here and there. And so people think it's a lot of stories.
Yeah, kind of like that telephone game, you know. uh
Yeah, broken telephone.
exactly, is that what it's called, broken telephone? I don't know, I haven't played
I
in a
mean, in
long time.
Canada, that's what it's called. I don't know what's
Is
called
it?
down there.
It's called just the telephone. Actually, we changed it to the iPhone game now.
That's
Uh,
interesting. Is it a California thing? Because you guys are all like techie down there.
uh, some of us are. Like I said, there's a huge population that are really trying to fight this thing. There's actually one story that's coming out of LA County, Los Angeles County in California. Let's see if I can find it. Okay, so the mayor of LA, Mayor Eric Garcetti. So he made this quote on there, and he's saying, "Let me be clear: any employee who refuses to be vaccinated by this date, which I don't have, I think the date is like December something. I don't know. Should be prepared to lose their job." So I see tons of people now. I follow people on both sides. Uh, doesn't I mean it doesn't matter to me. I just I like to listen to both sides to see what the hell is really going on, you know. But
Yeah.
yeah, that was crazy. I mean, to be that strict, and people are they're rallying up and calling California very not imperialistic, very following in communism style of governing of the state. So I don't know. It's a very interesting time, most
Yeah,
definitely.
it's tough to really side because I understand the other side too, where if they can't get it because they have to take time off to recover and they might not have the money for that, which really sucks. But where people just don't want to, I think that's where I'm like, so you want to kill other people?
Yeah, but just the reasoning. This is when somebody asks me, or I bring up a vaccine, and somebody says, "Oh hell no! Like I'm not going to get that." I ask them, "Okay, well, why not?" Like I have this one person in my life, um, friend or foe. I mean, coworker or non-coworker, and I ask them why, like why not, right? And he says, "I just don't want to be controlled." Um, what? I mean, I guess controlled and here's the thing. Uh, is it a, kind of like a psyop kind of control? Like, you're making me do something, so I have to do this, kind of give and take kind of thing? Or are you actually really thinking that the government is planting a chip in your arm? Like, which one is it? I don't get this at all. And honestly, honestly, dude, it's like, what is the government gonna do with your information? Or you're not really that interesting for the government to be watching you all the time. Like,
Yeah, seriously.
what are they gonna be watching you on your making sure that you're taking your diabetic medication? Are they making sure that your blood pressure is fine? Because this guy's an older guy. So I'm like, why even have the headache like that? You know?
Yeah. Like, why are you gonna go through this trouble when you can just and now you have to suffer through not going through all to different venues and whatever. But I am very much the same. I don't know if you heard about what happened with Huawei and why Huawei's banned in America.
Mm-mm. Wait, hold on. So who's that? Is that a person, place, thing? Is it a noun, verb? What is that?
So Huawei is a electronics company. They make cell phones. They're a Chinese company, and the American government basically found that Huawei was stealing information or watching, monitoring. I can't talk either. The American population through the phones. Um, for what reason? We don't know.
Yeah.
So they were banned from the US, but we still have them here in Canada.
Oh, okay.
And I had a Huawei phone before my phone now, and I just switched maybe a couple months ago. But I didn't really care because what am I doing that is so interesting to the Chinese government? Like,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so
even
they're probably watching my TikToks.
that's what I was
Like,
gonna say right now. Like,
yeah,
what about your TikToks? They know
yeah,
what you eat and drink every day of the. I mean, think about the population that's on TikTok right now, about the mass amount of information that the Chinese government may receive. But what are they going to do with that information? Are they selling it to other corporations for just like data? On most recent episode, I talked with Kevin Minos from the Latin American Educational Opportunities Mouthful Podcast. Not Mouthful Podcast, but the title gets me every time. And we were talking about different these large corporations like Amazon, Facebook. It's not stealing, because it's not stealing. We're giving up the data to them. We're signing.
hmm
We're okaying. I agree on these agreements. But that just sounds very similar to what you were talking about.
yeah, completely. I think I can't remember where I heard this from, but nothing is free. So
Hmm.
if the product or whatever is costing you $0, then you are the price.
Yeah.
Just kind of
We
a little dystopian.
right? Yeah, we have become what I said it like really beautiful, and I always go back to them. Like we have become the product, and our data has become the product for corporations. But
I think it really just bothers me when I get telemarketers calling me because I put my cell phone number somewhere.
we have this thing in the United States, well, in Southern California, probably other countries too. We get like scam likely. Like if somebody will call us, it will show like a 1-800 number and show up on our phone as scam likely. I get those maybe 3 times a day max, and I have 2 cell phones. I have one for work and then my personal use, and I get them on both, and it sucks. It's all creditor.
Oh my god.
Your insurance is about to expire. It's like, dude, for one, I don't make enough to have insurance. 2, I mean, how do you even have my information on my insurance anyways? And then 3, stop fucking calling me.
Yeah, see, I think okay, I can't remember what year it was, but it was one summer it was really, really bad. And Canada, the student loan organization is called OSAP or something like that.
Oh yeah, that one too.
And
education.
yeah.
Shit. Yeah, okay.
And it kept calling me. I was like, why? Like, stop this. This was when I was still in school. And then later on, I actually got a letter in the mail from them. It was real. I just confused it with the scammers because they were getting so good. I fucked up my credit a little bit, but
Oh my gosh. Yeah, see, you have to think, but sometimes when you start to mess with them, so I'm the type of person where I like to make a joke out of just any living thing and everything imagined possible. And if I'm bored and they call me, I tend to ask a little bit more questions than they're used to instead of hanging up on them. They'll call and ask for my name personally, and I tell them, yeah, this is him. Okay. Can you please state your social security number? And I'm like, 1 5 7 B 3 2 square. And they're like, sir, hold on. I think you're getting that wrong. And I'm like, no, I'm not. This is me. This is, and then I just changed the name, and you can tell that they get a little bit frustrated, and they stop, and there's some tension that's built in during that phone call, and I asked them, I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm just gonna cut this shit right now. Who are you? Where are you calling from? Who sent you? Did Rachel send you? Did Krisha send you? Are you Canadian? Can you tell me why there is a maple leaf on the Canadian flag? If you can't tell me that, then don't call me. And
did they actually get really, really mad at you, or did they hang up on you?
They just hang up on me.
Oh my god, you've gotten telemarketers to hang up on you.
Yeah.
That I've never heard of that. Hands to you.
I'm the type of person to where, like, if people, like, I'm walking towards somebody and somebody's walking towards me, they kind of like turn around and say, I don't want to talk to this guy. Which is why I have a podcast. So I'm glad. You're stuck here, Krisha. You can't hang up. You're stuck. You can't even go out that window. You're fine. No, but that window is here, and I need to hear that story again of you smoking out the window, smoking cannabis out the window.
God. Right. So I am back at my parents' house for a couple months, which obviously made me smoke more than usual. Mm-hmm. And the story you're referring to happened maybe 2-3 years ago. It's raining really hard outside, and usually I crawl out this window and it goes out into a roof, and that's where I would smoke outside. But it was raining this particular day, and all I had was a joint. I didn't have a vape back then. So I thought maybe if I, open the window and blow the smoke out the window, put a little, towel under my door, no one will smell it.
Yeah, the good
So
old towel underneath the the door crack trick. Love it.
yeah, and I feel like I should have learned this in high school, but I don't know why I didn't learn that it doesn't work, because I think like 5 minutes after I finished, my sister walked in the room, my brother walked in the room, and both my parents walked into the room, and I was like, what did I do? And my parents were livid. They were getting so mad at me. They were coming up with all these other crazy stories to get mad at me for.
It's like you do one thing wrong and then you want to bring up all the bad shit that you've done over the past 10 years.
Yeah, no, it wasn't even bad shit that I did. It's just bad shit that I suspected.
Oh,
So
okay.
at the time, I was having two friends over, and we were just, hanging out in the basement, drinking wine and whatever. And it was like two female friends. And so my parents accused us of having a threesome in the basement.
In the basement? Not even in your
Yeah,
room. Not even in your room, but the
yeah.
basement.
My dad was saying something like, I see some weird marks on the floor. I'm like, what weird? What? And at this point, I was laughing because I was high and I thought it was so crazy.
Oh yeah, to elevate this story, you were just stoned the whole time. Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
They were so mad. But that was the last time I tried to smoke out this window.
Okay, so you said that you had were your friends there in the room with you while your parents were having this discussion with you, or is it just you alone?
No, it was just me alone. But they had come over maybe regularly once or twice a week for the last 3 weeks. So they thought it was a little weird.
Oh.
God forbid I had friends.
You're leaving weird marks on the floor, Krisha.
Yeah, what else could it be? Yeah,
Crazy.
has to be a threesome. And I guess it was around the time that they were getting used to me being like a lesbian or gay.
Gotcha.
So they, I guess,
that
just assume.
So that was after your coming out text message.
Yeah, actually, I'm trying a little while after.
Oh, okay.
Maybe I would say 6 months after.
How did
I don't know.
I know you you talk about this on your podcast, but I mean, now reflecting back, how did you think, well, how did your parents react to you coming out?
Well, first, it was just a text to my mom, and I wasn't living at home at the time. I was living somewhere else, and I had just texted her. Like, she's been bothering me about it for years. Every time she would see something suspicious, she'd be like, "Are you?" And I would say no. I'd deny it because I knew that they're not very accepting. So I texted it to her, and her response was, "No, you're not." And I was kind of dumbfounded. I mean, for at least a year before that,
Yeah.
she kept asking if I was. I finally gave her answer. And then she just made me feel really guilty. You know, being an immigrant, she was pulling stories from when we first moved here. She would say things like, your dad worked really hard, to get you here, and this is how you're going to treat him. You're going to be gay and embarrass the family.
Wow. How did you react to all that? Like, what was going through your mind when your parents were having this reaction towards your, I guess, your, can I say lifestyle, or your I mean, because I know that I listened to the show to where you were talking about how it's not really a lifestyle, that it was something else. Maybe I'm mistaken with that, or is that something that was on there?
Um, I can't remember. I haven't
Okay.
listened to my stuff in a while, but I guess not really. I guess it's sort of like a lifestyle, but just it's who I am.
Yeah.
Not really anything specific, but
Okay.
I was livid. Why
Mm.
is this so bad, and why was I think not really about her not accepting me. It was the fact that my mom was trying to manipulate me and to guilt me,
Oh,
and it was
okay.
working. It was
Oh, yeah.
working. I was mad. I finally got up the courage to tell her, but she wanted to hide it from my dad. And then eventually, my dad got mad because I wasn't coming home or I wasn't talking to them, and I was just absolutely pissed whenever I was around them. So finally, he sat me down and asked what was going on, and I told him. And my mom was there too, and both of them just let me have it for like 2 straight hours. They were so mad, just kept going on about how I was gonna embarrass them, embarrass the family, and then my dad was disowning me like I'm no longer his daughter. I just, I think at that point I wasn't really thinking anything. I was just more in shock. I need to leave, but yeah, and then I did.
Yeah, eventually you did, right? Um, so,
No, that night,
oh, that night.
yeah, they were disowning me. They're like, you need
Wow,
to leave this house.
that's very
So
quick.
yeah, I had my girlfriend at the time pick me up, and I just slept at her house. And then
Yeah.
I wasn't living at home. I was still living away. I was just visiting them for the weekend. So thank God for that.
Now you brought up an interesting point along the way. Uh, listening to you, and I do listen to you about your, I guess your parents' religious views. And now let me ask you that I don't know if you might have mentioned this, but your girlfriend at the time, was her family like predominantly secular and not really religious?
Yeah, actually, yeah, they weren't they didn't really believe in anything too
Oh,
much.
okay.
She never mentioned going to church or anything like that.
Yeah.
Maybe her grandparents, but her like immediate
Yeah.
family, no.
Oh, okay. Do you Now let me ask you this, because I and anybody that has been listening up to this point in this this Mindbuzz platform, that I have a huge background in Christianity, and not
Mhm.
just one denomination of Christianity, but several over the course of 12 years as a young boy. My grandfather was a church pastor. He ran many ministries. My uncle is also a pastor, and he had a church for a few more well over than a decade, and we used to go. So my whole family, pretty much. I have aunts that are pastors. My mom was heavily involved in the church. I was heavily involved in the church at a very young age. So I see how that would happen, because I do have family members that are gay and lesbian, and I always go back. I always try to break down. Like, I think about this all the time about secular views versus religious views on the LGBTQ community. Now, it's so saturated now because there's so many different denominations. There's so many different views on gay and lesbian, transgender, and there's even churches that are predominantly are gay churches, and it blows my mind. Like, there's a city here in Southern California called Ontario, California. You drive on, yeah, interesting, right? You drive
Yeah.
on Euclid Street, and there's a huge church that has a rainbow flag. that has like all the colors. It's like what, black, brown, the it has a trans flag, and then it has the LGBTQ flag. Maybe I'm getting that wrong, but I certainly know what the trans flag looks like, and it has that, and I'm just like, whoa, like that's I mean, is that progress? But then again, I still look at it. I mean, what do you think? Is that progress, or is it's still, you still have the religious mindset, but just in a different form?
No, I don't think you have to be non-religious to be a part of the LGBTQ community, because I actually was reading up on this. But the word homosexual didn't even appear in the Bible until 1946. And
Okay.
that was just because of a mistranslation. So really, like, that one passage that everybody talks about, like, thou shall not lie with man, shall not lie with man, as he does with other women. Originally, that was um the, instead of with man, it
Yeah.
was with like a boy, like a young boy.
Yeah.
So it was talking about what's pedophilia.
Okay. Yeah.
And yeah, just because of a mistranslation. Now, well, I don't think it was an accident. I think it was
It.
interestingly enough, like,
Yeah.
also in the German Bible, the word homosexual didn't appear in the Bible until 1983. I made this connection this morning. It kind of blew my mind, but at the time, the Germany didn't have enough funding to translate, to have a new translation, because there wasn't enough of a Christian population there. So an American company paid for their new translation, or their new revision, in 1983, and that's when the word homosexual appeared in the German Bible, and that was also around the time of the AIDS crisis, and where homosexual men were being painted as this horrible thing that spreading this disease or infection.
Yeah, and they kind of use that to amplify the state that I guess the to amplify that negative connotation to being gay, right? And they use that Bible as a tool. I mean, they use the story as a tool, but it's so interesting
Mhm.
because, like you said, there's only one passage throughout the whole Bible, and the whole Bible has all these different stories in there, depending
Mhm.
on whether you believe them or not, if they happen or not, or even a part of history. Um, but there's only one story, and I was looking at a video the other day, and they were saying that there's only 1% of the Bible that talks about homosexuality, and it was that one that you were talking about, and then also the Sodom and Gomorrah story
Mhm. Yeah.
as well. Did you see that one or hear about that one?
Yeah, it was about sodomy as well, and I think
Yeah.
also that was more about pedophilia.
Was it? Okay. Yeah, because I didn't get that one when I looked. I looked at, I know it was and then also they talked about the translation between sodomy too. It's not really, it's how they explained it was sex outside of sex, or it was I think it was something like
Oh, yeah.
you know, it was like sex not with the opposite sex or something like that.
Yeah,
And
and just in general, there is so much left to interpretation, and,
yeah.
I think religion isn't bad. I think the people that are, at the heads of these religions are
Hmm.
power hungry, I guess.
I maybe but the Sodom and Gomorrah story that really tripped me out because uh there were these two men, right? Two men going to the city looking for a place to stay, and then there's this gentleman named Lot, in Sodom and Gomorrah, and he took them in, and the people within Sodom and Gomorrah, right? I think I'm stating this correctly, but there were a mob of people that suspected these two men of being possibly homosexuals, right?
Mhm.
And Lot had them in the house, and this mob wanted to gang rape these two. And if you don't believe me, you can go look at it, because this is what I researched that I found, and I will throw the links in the show notes. But yeah, Lot was actually the one that saved these two men from being gang raped by a whole city. And so it's so fascinating, because this gang rape mob that was about to take place wanted to do this to these men because of suspicion of homosexuality and sodomy. That makes no fucking sense at all.
Yeah, no, I think I think I was confusing this with another story, but yeah, this sounds very familiar. I think I was reading about this too when I did an episode on Christianity, and I was also confused. Why would that be the solution?
There, if anything, there's going to be more sodomy after that,
Yeah.
you know? Or
And how does it stop? So then, do other people gang rape them for committing sodomy too?
yeah, I think it's just like a circular thing of constant sodomy. Just boom, sodomy 24/7. Or they notice that there's these two young looking, guys that look very, very good, very look very attractive in their robes, walking through the street, and the people of Sodom and Gomorrah couldn't help themselves, and they
Right.
just needed to do this.
It's always the foreigners, they look very interesting. We've never seen them, so they must have been like having the hots as they were walking through the city in their robes.
It must be something, because it's this whole book is just it's fascinating to me, and there's so many different everything's up to interpretations. And last night, it's so awesome that we're having this discussion today, because I fell asleep listening to the Atheist Experience on I didn't have it on YouTube. I usually watch it on YouTube, and Matt Dillahunty is probably one of the greatest podcast hosts that aside from Adam Curry. He's a great host. But I fell asleep listening to that podcast, and my dream was fucking weird. Like, it was crazy, because we were having a family party. I was somehow invited, and
Wait,
Miracle.
somehow is there like
Well, I don't. Well, me and my family have some history, and it's tough for me to hang about them, but I still love them. But it's just it's tough, and it's for personal reasons. I mean, it pains me to be with them, but it's kind of like a catch-22, because I love them and I miss them so much. But it pains me because of just past memories with my immediate family. And but I mean, there's that. I mean, we're hanging out, and it was like a backyard carne asada party, and that's a Hispanic form of barbecuing a piece of meat. So we were hanging out, and somehow religion came up. And like I said at the top of this podcast, that or this story, that all my family on my mother's side is very religious
right?
in Christianity. And because that came up, I started, and usually I don't talk about my views, because I know I won't change their mind. I know that already. I know that whatever I say or any kind of evidence that I will try to prove, it won't. I will just save my breath. But in this dream, somehow grew some balls, and I was talking to them about this. And there's this one thing. The reason why I bring up the atheist experience is because Matt Dillahunty has this thing to where, um, if you bring up different stories within the Bible, like say for instance slavery, right? We all know slavery is fucking horrible. To own another person is horrible. That I mean, you shouldn't be doing it in any type of culture or country or whatever. But God allows it. God allows it in the Bible to own humans, right? But that is Old Testament. Are you familiar with the Bible at all?
A little bit. Actually, you know what? When you like, I've heard on previous episodes you talking about your family being super religious. My grandpa, he was a pastor as well, so I grew up also
Oh, okay.
pretty religious, and having the Bible read to me every day.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Did anything sink in? Not too much.
Mhm.
So I'm
Gotcha.
not that familiar.
Gotcha. It's so weird because now, like, I'm not to refute it, but I like to, after listening to that podcast in particular, and just my background and my my early life and before well, let me finish the story first and then I'll go to that. But we were Matt Dillahunty has this thing to where we're talking he talks about the Old Testament and how some people will say, well, you can't talk about slavery. God put those type of rules because he was angry with humankind and the way human beings were at then. That's why he came up with the 10 Commandments. The slavery, that's Old Testament. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about the negative side of God, right? But on the same page, on the same Old Testament, you have the 10 Commandments, right? So at this point, there's you think about it, and it's like, okay, so you're choosing. First, you say that the Old Testament is there's so many things that God did to humankind because he was angry with them, right? When he's supposed to love them, and you're what he's saying is you're picking and choosing what you want to follow throughout the Bible, whether it's Old Testament or New Testament, because 10 times out of 10, every Christian is going to follow the 10 Commandments, which came out of the Old Testament, but they are closing their eyes to the many atrocities that God supposedly did to the people in Old Testament. And I thought that was just like, whoa, like that was okay. Like there's a point there. I never really thought about that, but I was trying to explain this in my dream to my family, and it was so weird because it like I was talking and I felt like I was like revolving, like I was turning, like I was on like a disc floating, just like making my points talking, and it was so weird. Like I felt like I was on a stage, and all my family was in the audience, and some of them were crying, some of them were like I don't know, kind of like I can see their faces like in my mind, and they're kind of like there's this disappointed look, and there's this laughing, like some of them were laughing at me and thinking I was crazy. But yeah, after that moment when I made the point, then I woke up and I was just like, I am never listening to the atheist experience before I go to bed, because no, I'm joking. But no, it was weird because we never really talk about religion only because of that fact. And I think about it, it's like I'm not here to change anybody's mind. I mean, you can believe what you want, but don't force anything on me, and don't judge me on anything that I think of, um because I don't know, just not right. Just like how some people are saying that this vaccine is being forced upon people. It's there's a difference, because depending on your particular experience in life, that's gonna have a huge effect on what your choices are, depending on, and religion's a huge factor in treating others.
Yeah,
That's what I've found.
I think like, getting the vaccine or not, if you don't get it, you have a very high potential of killing somebody else instantly. And with religion also, people are using it as an excuse to kill people. So I think we should just try not to hurt each other and try not to force shit on people.
Yeah. Yeah, and then there's another point, even picking and choosing what stories that you want to follow in in your book. Why
I
not just
fucking hate that so much.
why not pick and choose on what your own personal morality is and follow that, instead of following something that was written 1,000 years ago? Like, I even talk about the Constitution too, of the United States. We're still following this thing that was written fucking almost 300 years ago with the fucking feather, and we're still basing all our laws on this.
Yeah, there's some weird outdated laws too that they need to take out, but nobody has, and I don't get why we're all still living by these same set of rules when the world is completely different.
Yes, exactly. You see, Krisha gets me. I don't know why doesn't anybody else get me?
I think it's just your family, Gil. I'm sorry.
No, no. Well, maybe, I don't know. But just, yeah, this whole God religion thing has just it's been I've been, and like our social media person has told you, and about me going full force into this topic for the past couple of days
Mhm.
and weeks too. Like, it's just, it's fascinating to me. And my partner, she like, I get invited to Bible studies, and I go. Like, I have a best friend of mine, is he's a youth minister, and he
Mhm.
invited me to a conference of the different churches that are, within their own collective kind of community, church community. And I went, and I stayed. I was there for 8 hours.
Oh my God.
It was
How do
a
you
it was a full day thing.
see? I can't, I know you're not supposed to hate your opponent or your enemy. I don't hate anybody religious. It's just that to sit through Bible studies, listening to things that I think are completely wrong makes me very agitated. And how did you
Really?
sit through that?
Um, I did. I told my friend, because he knows my views already. He knows my past. He's my best friend. We've known each other for over 15 years. And I told him right when I went there. And before I left my house, I told myself, okay, Gil, you know what? You're going to go there. You're going to be a very supportive best friend. Depending on, leave leave put your guard down just a little bit, and open up your mind to a different form of thought, whether that thought may be very, very different from me. But I I mean, with that, I just try to open up. I wrote down tons of the scriptures, different Bible verses in my note. I brought a notebook and everything. It was a whole thing. It was like I was going to school. Mommy,
Wow.
I'm going back to Sunday school. You'd be proud of me, mommy. Okay.
I know I kind of miss Sunday school. I fall asleep during mass, or I did, but Sunday school is lit, coloring and watching Veggie Tales. Veggie Tales is dope.
Yeah. Yeah, I became vegan after watching Veggie Tales. I couldn't eat a cucumber, or I couldn't do anything with dick-shaped veggies back then. But I mean, just that alone, when I went to the study, I just opened up, I wrote down verses. I asked for a Bible, and they gave me one. They gave me a free one. I was like, oh well, if I'm gonna leave out of here, I want something. Give me something. Give me something free. So I got a Bible, and I mean, I guess the only way to, at least in my point of view, if you're gonna have a an a position that is opposite from others, why not learn as much as you can from the opposing side, and build arguments around their main arguments.
Eh, For
It may not be an argument, but what I mean, like if somebody is saying, well, whatever, brings up a Bible verse to you, right? And you could, I want to be in the point in my knowledge of religion to where I can refute that with another opposing verse.
Oh, so it's like you're going to spy on the enemy? Is that what it
Not
is?
the CIA religion, religious. No, is it? Is that what that sounds like? Am I an
Well,
ass? Am I an
well,
asshole?
first of all, I think that it was a good choice to get a free Bible because Bible paper makes good rolling paper.
Oh, you got your point there.
But no, I think it also depends on the other party. What
Yeah.
I'm okay listening to people that are open minded and don't immediately reject me as a person. Um, so or they don't try to force you to be religion as well. They're just really just trying to share what they think. But yeah, so from that perspective, I understand what you mean. But I also understand or admire that you go there to find verses and actually learn about it and then make up your mind about them
Yeah,
later on.
and not just the whole argument against religion too, but I have read a book called "The Sacred Mushroom and the Cross," and by John M. Allegro, and that book outlines, I guess, in the mass kind of false interpretation of Christianity, and I'll just go by it really quick. But his theory is stating that, or hypothesis, whatever you want to call it, is stating that Christianity was a huge misunderstanding, that the Bible was used and coded to hide mushroom cults.
What?
Yes.
What's this book called again, or who is it by?
The Sacred Mushroom and the Cross by John M. Allegro.
That's gonna be on my Amazon wish list. I need to. But what's a mushroom cult?
Okay, so before religions, before Europe's Spanish Inquisition, before all that, there was these cults, and basically the mushroom cult, and the specific mushrooms that they will, you know what a cult is, right? I guess a group of people, worshiping. So they would worship these mushrooms, and the majority of these mushrooms were psychedelic mushroom, and it was Amanita muscaria, which is the most famous looking mushroom, psychedelic mushroom, which is the red cap with the white circles on it. So you can even search like Amanita muscaria, like on Google, and those those mushrooms are everywhere. They're everywhere around the world in different parts of different parts of the world, with many different cultures that may not even talk to each other. That's what's
Is that
fascinating.
the Alice in Wonderland mushroom?
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah,
Oh.
yeah, exactly. That's what it is. But these mushroom cults, they would take these mushrooms in kind of like a ceremonial type of deal, and John M. Allegro talks about in the book that the mushroom is Jesus, and God is up in the sky, and Mother Earth is Mary. So when they say that Mary was a virgin, and not having a physical form of intimacy with God, right? So so animated muscaria grows very rapidly after rainfall. So that's why they would think these things are so magical, because after a good rainfall, they will grow instantly. So these cults also had a very how do I say this? A very they're very cultish around sex as well. So even when they talk about the mushroom, that these mushrooms look like a phallus. They look like a penis. So there's just so many hidden messages within that book. Even there's this whole theory on Christmas and the Amanita muscaria mushroom, because a lot of the mushrooms grow underneath the Christmas tree, which is the coniferous, right? The coniferous tree, the pine needle one. Santa Claus is red and white. Amanita muscaria is red and white.
Oh shit.
Yeah. So even like around Santa Claus too. Check this one out. So Santa Claus was like the whole thing, him coming down the chimney to leave presents and stuff like that. So that's why we have presents underneath a coniferous tree, because mushrooms used to grow underneath coniferous trees. They would say that Santa Claus was he was jolly, but he wasn't. He was a shaman that used to climb down chimneys, and the reason why they got the chimneys was because he was a shaman of the mushroom cult, and back then Christians from other parts of the country wanted to wipe out all these different forms of cults and all these other different religions aside from Christianity. So the only way that these shamans would get into the households, instead of going through the front door because they didn't want to get killed by these Christians, the only way was the chimney. And
Dude, you're so, this is embarrassing, but I feel a lot less embarrassed about this now, hearing about this mushroom cult. But when I was younger, I don't want to say how old because it's still kind of embarrassing, but I had a sex dream about Santa. So now I'm realizing that I was just picking up on all this sexual undertone.
Oh, okay.
Thank you. Wow, you're like you're resolving a lot of the trauma for me.
Well, you think about it. I mean, Santa Claus, he's excuse my verbiage, but he comes once a year, and he leaves us presents. And they're just, I'm telling you, and something that I really noticed, even younger, where I'm not telling you, people probably think I'm bullshitting because of just my vast amounts of like my my attraction to all these different mushroom stories and stuff. But
Oh, I thought you were gonna say Santa Claus, and I was like, oh, I'm not alone.
Oh no, 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 no. Um, no.
Sorry.
I'm not alone. Very good looking guy, but he's just not my type. He's just not my
No.
type. He's a little older than I like. But yeah, not my type. Santa Claus is definitely not my type. I'm sorry, Krisha.
Got it. Not into DILFs.
Not into what?
DILFs.
Oh yeah, yeah. He's old too. He's like 1,000 years old. No, I'm good. I'm
Lots of
good.
experience.
I'm good. Lots of, yeah, right. And he has gifts for you all the time, and he has cookies after foreplay. So everybody leave Santa Claus a condom and cookies and milk and Viagra. Maybe that's why he wanted to come to my house all the time, because I left him out Viagra by the fireplace.
Oh, is that the secret? Is that how you always get a good present and not coal? You have to leave out cookies and Viagra?
Yeah. Exactly.
Damn. Kids, Christmas is coming up soon. Stock up.
Stock up. Yeah, you can get a lot in TJ. And they have stores in TJ that you can just go to. You don't even, I think you have to be like 18 and over. And they're like very cheap. They're like a couple of pesos. And you can get like a bottle of like 50. I've never done it, but you can get like a bottle of 50 blue pills for very cheap.
Damn.
Down in Mexico.
So, well, that's only really accessible to the California kids. What about the kids in Canada?
Well,
not saying that I want it. I'm saying.
Well, don't you have like free, medical thing over there, or is that another
No,
another
we do.
myth, another Canadian myth that I'm led to believe?
No, it's true. Oh my God. Side story, but when I was, I think, what's this, 22 or something like that, I was seeing a psychiatrist, and in Canada, when you're under 25, all prescription medication is free. So my psychiatrist just kept prescribing me stuff. He's like, it's free anyway, just take it. Just free anyway, just take it.
Hey, so before I, there was one question that I had. What's the status like in Canada as far as cannabis? And do you know what the status is in like psilocybin and psychedelics?
I know cannabis is legal everywhere. They're looking to legalize shrooms too, but I don't. I don't know if that's gonna pass. Maybe in a couple of years.
Yeah, definitely.
I hope so.
Yeah, definitely, it's gonna reach the tipping point, just like marijuana. I think over here, I think. Cannabis was sorry, I had a cannabis fart. No, it was, I think it was like 8 years after they decriminalized it that it became legalized. So I think decriminalization is the first step into legalizing that.
I don't really know how illegal shrooms is, because I've seen it on online stores.
Oh, okay.
Maybe they're just not policing it.
I'm so weary about ordering shit like that online. I don't know. Like I know a few people that have done it. They're like, oh, it's safe and this and that. I'm just like, no, because I am the one motherfucker that will probably, dude. Speaking of that, okay, check this out. Speaking of, you know how we were talking about the telemarketer shit, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if it was a crank call, because it freaked me the fuck out. They called me and they're like, you have a suspicious package being delivered to you. And I'm just like,
I've been
what?
getting that recently too.
Really? You have? So
yeah.
I'm not the only one. I'm not the only one.
I got it today. I'm like, what package? I haven't ordered anything.
Right? All my shit already got delivered. What else did I order? Is it part 2 of part 2 of 2? I don't know. But yeah, dude, I got that, and it was like very detailed. It was like the FDA has spotted, and then they talked about Food and Drug Administration. They talked about all these other different agencies that were involved in this one package, and I'm just like,
Fuck.
what? It was blowing my mind, and I was at work too, and I had it on speakerphone, and I think somebody walked by, and I was just like, no, it's a crank caller, stop calling me. Then I hung up real quick. It was strange, but
Oh my God, you're right. Now I can't order anything like a little weird online because it might be real.
but dude, this is the funny thing. I don't know, because sometimes I just order shit to order shit. Like I might be maybe uh I've had like a good night drinking whiskey or some good beer, and I just start ordering dumb shit. So I'm like, fuck. Like, and the night before, I had like a good night partying and stuff. So I mean, it could have been a possibility. That's what was running in my head. I was like, okay, it could have been a possibility for that. So it kind of freaked me the fuck out, man.
So, but how do you know now it's not real?
Because I don't order anything anymore. That's why.
Let's get it. Glad it didn't happen like after a night of drinking and shopping.
Yeah, I don't. I wouldn't do that. I mean, I don't know. To each his own. But yeah, I don't. I wouldn't do that. Have you ever had a psychedelic experience? I mean,
No,
you don't
actually.
you don't have to answer that, but I kind of want to
No,
pick your brain
I've
about
been
that.
I've been saying this to friends for years. I've been looking for somebody to do a first trip with me or be like my
Your
trip leader.
your trip
Yeah.
sitter.
Yeah.
Okay. I will tell you one thing. Absolutely. Dig into set and setting. Have a very clear, I guess. I don't know, because there's just a lot of different speculation upon I guess your first psychedelic experience. And I mean, set and setting is one thing to look into to that. And I
So
think the more you're well knowledgeable into how you should clear your mind, your physical mind, your physical, like your body before the trip. And it's very different than all the other um extra activities that I have done. So
extra.
yeah. Very very different than all the, like, it's not like MDMA, it's not like ecstasy. It's a whole new different fucking world. I'll tell you that much. It's fucking intense.
So do you recommend like being indoors or outdoors? Because I've heard arguments for both.
It honestly, it just depends on what it's all subjective. Like, it's all what you feel most comfortable with. Like, my first couple of times have always been indoors. Um I feel that usually when I go outside, when I'm inside, going outside and maybe having like a cigarette or smoking a joint, while high on acid, it just fucking it. I talk about this on this podcast about one time me and a couple of friends, we dropped a couple of taps of acid, and we went outside waiting for it to kick in, and we are like, oh, we should smoke a joint to see what happens.
Oh my God.
So lo and behold, it kind of just like it amplified everything, and I'm just like, okay, I don't know if I'm high because of the cannabis, or is this the acid taking hold of my brain right now? And it was definitely the acid and the cannabis too. I seen this huge Rubik's cube looking thing coming out of the clouds that was basically uh destroying, demolishing, like demolishing everything that I was looking at. It was weird. Like everything was like collapsing against each other, like kind of like a kaleidoscope, and it scared the
That's
fuck out of me.
wild.
It's-
Like when what that happens, how do you stop yourself from
It
freaking
did.
the fuck out?
Yeah. What I did, I was like, you know what? I don't, because you, I don't know how to explain it because it's not really a trap. There's just this train of thought that you're thinking about, but it's there's two sides. It's either you're thinking about it negatively or you're thinking about it positively. And at that point, because I was outside, it was all these different other factors that weighed in. Was because I usually don't drop psychedelics outside, so there was that kind of anxiety too because I'm outside. I don't want to see anybody that is not high with me, so I had that anxiety. My pupils were fucking huge. My eyeball was fucking black, and you just had that anxiety along with it, and I was just thinking of like this is not happening, this problem, like what's going on. But I looked over to my friend. I'm like, okay, I got to go inside, and then after that, it just stopped.
Okay,
It
that well,
has to do a lot with you have to have. It's hard to have control. I say to have control, but then at the end of the day, it's not about having control because you have to let go and you have to relax.
but wild. Now I'm a little excited and a little scared at the same time.
Don't be scared. If I'm scaring you, that's not the way to
No,
take it.
I'm
No.
gonna have like my first trip, and then I'm gonna message him like, "Gill, I just tripped the fuck out."
Yeah.
It's
No,
wild.
yes, do that and then come back on the show and then we can talk about that. Yeah, that would be freaking awesome.
Yeah, and I can talk about how I might or might not be attracted to mushrooms.
Yeah, there's a thin line. I mean, between both those two psychedelics, LSD and psilocybin. I'm a psilocybin fan, but that's just my personal choice. I mean, it's totally different experiences on both. Not one trip is the same, and uh, contrary to popular belief, you either have a good trip or a bad trip. No, it's not. You have a good trip or a bad trip. It's all one big experience, and a good trip is a good trip, but a bad trip can also be a good trip just the way that you perceive it.
I think I kind of get it, but it's so hard to imagine or try to control yourself in that state of mind in which I've never been. So,
Mhm. Yeah, it's
God, and I'm more excited. Now I'm going to go order it online. I don't care if I get the telemarketers on my phone.
they're gonna text you. Do you ever get text messages too? I get text messages from the CDC all the time.
Yeah, sometimes. And then I'm like, it's getting so sophisticated. Can they stop this?
They're
And
getting smart.
But don't they know that I think they should have like a filter of the people that have never fallen for any of these and the people that have. So they can stop bothering me. I'm a
Maybe.
little tired of it. Just a
Maybe.
little.
Oh, I know, but Krisha, you probably want Santa Claus to text you.
Depends.
If Santa Claus had a bag of mushrooms, you'd be right over there, just on his sleigh.
Right. I'd have 2 plates of cookies and Viagra for him.
Dude, okay, so one more thing before we get going. The reindeer, why they think that reindeer fly. You know why? Because
Why is that?
those types of reindeers used to eat the mushrooms underneath the coniferous trees. But get this, hold on. Get this. The people that were living among the reindeers, because the tripping reindeers would piss in the snow, these people would follow the reindeers around, so that way when they pee, they still had some of the psilocybin going through their urine. So these people would drink urine and trip the fuck out too.
That's so wild. The kind of shit that we as humans have done or not done. Like, it might
Yeah.
not be weird to them, but to us, it's like.
Yeah. Yeah.
But is that why Rudolph's nose is red? Is it a mushroom as well?
Possibly, but I think he just had like I don't know. He had a congestion issues, or it was a tumor or something.
Good for him.
You ever see that Family Guy when Santa Claus goes up to Rudolph, and he was like, "Rudolph, we found out why your nose is red." He was like, "Oh my God, is it because of magic fairy dust? Is it because and Santa Claus says, "Nope." Is it because magical Christmas spirit? Because my nose turns red? He's like, "Nope, it's a tumor."
Fuck. I miss Family Guy. Now I'm gonna go get high and watch Family Guy.
But yeah, definitely. Krisha, this was cool. We did not go over all the stuff that we were gonna plan on to go over, but I enjoyed this.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun. Thank you so much for having me, and releasing a lot of childhood trauma.
Wait, hold on. Releasing or
Yeah, like I feel like now I have a lot to digest. Like, why did I dream about Santa? Is it because of all the sexual undertones in the Bible?
Oh, okay. There we go. The Bible is very sexual. It's very sexual. It's sexy. Bible's sexy.
It should be in the erotica section.
Yeah. Not nonfiction, but or religious, but in the erotica. That's what I want. I want a Bible to be sexy. If you want to teach me religion, teach me a religion that's sexy. Maybe that's why the mushroom cults had all these different sexual undertones, because
you know what? Yeah, maybe that's why all the cults are all like the way that they are. They have heavy followings, or when you're in it, it's hard to leave because
it's sexy.
Yeah.
Krisha, go ahead and tell everybody where we can find more of Krisha and Gay Monologues and your YouTube channel and all that good stuff. So go ahead.
You can follow my Instagram at Gay Monologues. That's GayMonologues. I also have a YouTube channel by the same name. You can follow me there. I think I will have an episode out soon. And I also have another account that I'm also updating soon, Loud Pride. That's Loud, PRIDE.co on Instagram.
Perfect. And I will put all those links that Krisha has just beautifully talked about down in the show description and show notes. Don't forget to follow Mindbuzz on Instagram, Facebook. I think I have a TikTok. Do we have a TikTok?
You have a TikTok?
No, we will be getting that within a couple days. So watch out for TikTok that the Mindbuzz will be on. And of course, if you're watching this on YouTube, hit that little bell, and you can get notified when the Mindbuzz has some cool content coming up. So there you go. Guess that was another one with Krisha from Gay Monologues. I'm gonna let the outro music play out, and there you go. Thanks, Krisha, for being here.
No, thanks so much.
The Mindbuzz Podcast.